have this gentleman that I'm working with, and he's sleeping on a flattened air mattress, and he has no furniture, and he's 64 years old, and he could really use your help.
I wanted to change things, and I didn't, at certain points of times, I didn't know how, when. I had to really start to focus on where my life was going to be. Where's it going? Who am I going to be involved with? Who do I need to meet? So at that time, I started drinking a little bit, and it really kind of like slowed me down. Not only slowed me down, but it was how I was really feeling. And my living arrangement was really devastating. I mean, really devastating. I was living to where, it was more roaches than people living in the same building. My apartment was having a lot of problems, but it didn't matter because one day went on. The next year, it just kept doing these things. And then you don't mind looking at the roaches. You don't mind seeing the water coming from the ceiling, dropping. Because you're not living on the streets.
So William was referred to us from Volunteers of America, the Meals on Wheels program, who we work closely with to connect people to services. I understand that you could use some help, and his response to me was so open from the beginning that I made an appointment. I went out to meet him the very next week.
My heart had to tell me face to face, this is, you got to do something.
He was ready to go, and he knew that he wanted changes. And so we just started stepping through the things that we could really do together.
I was ready to accept things that I wanted to change about my life, and I didn't know how until I met the Lutheran organization through Caregiver. She listened to me without any judgment. It's almost like she saw my heart and my mind at the same time. I started explaining things to her. I went through a lot based on my life and what was upon me at this time. It was, she just wanted to listen. And I can tell she was setting things up already. She really was. I can see it because she was such a beautiful, sweet person. She was setting it up. I knew right then it was something amazing getting ready to happen. This lady came in my apartment. I wanted to put her on a case to sit down. I was sitting on the floor and I started explaining things to her.
When we work with people is we hear their whole story, and we start to ask them we start by saying, what would you like to do first? And it was pretty obvious for both William and I that he needed food, he needed clothes, and he needed a place to sleep.
We started this step, the next step is the next step, and the next step is the next step. And that's how we arranged it. And it worked out that way to a point to where I am today.
Through that process, we were able to get him back on disability, which gave him insurance, gave him Medicaid insurance, which he sorely needed.
This last step was the key, the last step, which was getting me out of my environment where I was living with roaches, which they wanted me paying rent like I was.
And I said, I think I found a place. If you don't like it, it's okay, but they'll you'll move in at the end of the month if you like it. I had a good feeling that if they could just meet him, they would know that he's good people. And so we went to the meeting, he toured us around, and he, on good faith, we didn't have any money to put down on that apartment, he handed William the keys and said, you can move in this weekend.
And when he opened the door, oh my God. Carpet. I looked out and I saw about 6 big windows.
It was a beautiful way to end the chapter of our work together.
If it hadn't been for Carrie in the Lutheran church situation, I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have made those steps like that. I wouldn't have. Beautiful people, beautiful, loving, caring people that are willing to help. I mean, seriously, really to help, if you want to help.
But the work that we do in the Older Adult Caregiver Services program, we do it really well. We really support people where they're at. We see them as whole people, and we work along their path that they're on.
But this situation that I've been involved in changed my life at that point. And I loved it. Just make steps forward.